me just mess around with this for a minute. Well, that's a bit better. That light just seems bright now. It's dark outside because it's raining, and this light that shines on me from behind my computer, it's kind of bright, so bear with me. Yeah, I'm like this because I just came back from the gym a short while ago, and I haven't got change yet, which, of course, I will do eventually. I need to take a deep breath. If you want to follow me, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. Well, that's better. Yeah, today's reading is, well, it's called Be True to Your True North. Be true to your true north. First quote is from someone I think everyone has heard of. Well, maybe not everyone, because if you were born outside of this country, you may not be familiar with some of the TV characters of a while ago. Lucille Ball, comedy series where she's not only she's extremely funny, she's extremely intelligent. Well, she has passed along now, but she said, love yourself first, and then everything else falls in line. Love yourself first, and everything falls in line. And Ernest Holmes, of course, he's always a little bit more involved. And in Living Without Fear, on page 39, he says, there's an inner urge in our own minds to grow, to expand, to break down the barriers of previous limitations, and to ever widen our experience. This persistent urge is a divine influence and an irresistible force, and it constitutes the greatest impulse in human experience. So what's he talking about? He's saying that there is an urge within every human being to evolve as a human being, to evolve as a person. And sometimes with people, a lot of us, it's beaten down when we're growing up, and sometimes we have to rediscover it. Some people, it's just there all their lives. Some people are actually encouraged to grow as human beings, and some people just kind of fade away and give up. You know, I just came back from the gym, as I mentioned, and I met a good friend of mine there. She's about my age, and she looks pretty good, actually. She said, yep, I work out and I don't eat crap. So, but then she started talking about a friend of hers, school-age friend. She went to visit her recently. And this friend has kind of given up on life. She and her husband have bought 2 expensive recliners. And she said that's how they spend their days, in the dark with the TV on. And when they want to move around, they don't try and walk anymore. They use walkers. And she was kind of implying that a lot of it's their own fault because they've let themselves get in this rut and they're not expanding. But you'll see that age has got nothing to do with wanting to expand as a human being, expand our experience. I mean, look at Grandma Moses, who took up painting late in life and became a real success at it. And there's lots of examples out there of people doing that. And on the other end of the spectrum, there's lots of little kids, and you can see they've got a driving force. There was a movie we watched the other day. It was about, it's a Jewish family that had moved to Australia, and the kid was a phenomenal pianist. He was a prodigy, but his father was awful, always beating him down verbally, wouldn't let him do things. I mean, religion was everything to his father, and in the worst kind of way you can think of. But eventually he went through lots of stuff in his life, and he ended up having major mental issues, but eventually he managed to break through that later in life, and he started becoming a great pianist again. But that urge was in him, and even though his father had beaten it down, other people came into his lives and helped him to get through that and to work beyond it and to move along. So that is my long-winded introduction to Reverend Michelle's message, but that's what Ernest Holmes is talking about here. And this is Reverend Michelle, not me anymore. She says, in my introduction to these daily guides, I suggested that self-love is the lodestone of life. Just as Lucille Ball offers, consider that if we get self-love, which is the inner urge of our deepest self, If we get it in line, then all else follows. And remember, a lodestone, as you probably remember, is it's a it's a piece of magnetite, which is a rock, but it's naturally magnetic. And in the old days, long ago, it was actually used as a compass because if you suspend it or put it in water, it will automatically face north. And this is before magnets were actually produced to do this. So it's a naturally occurring magnet, and it's used as an example of like your North Star. Sometimes your direction in life is called. Sometimes your lodestone, your direction in life. So then she says, let's consider what this could mean for us or to us. Sometimes we're tempted to think that if other people could love us, then we could love ourselves. Yet, it might really be the more that we love ourselves, the more others love us. So it's flipped around. Sometimes we're tempted to believe that if whatever source of our financial abundance loved and appreciated us more, they would give us more. Maybe. Maybe. Yet it might really be the more we love ourselves, the more abundance flows into our lives. Yes, I can agree with that wholeheartedly. Sometimes we're tempted to think that if God, the divine, the all, the ground of all being, loved us more, our problems and issues would be taken from us. Yet it might really be that the more we love ourselves, the more our problems and issues just fall away. This issue of self-love being the lodestone, direction if you like, means it could be the central issue that allows us to be and to feel centered in our life, in our body, in our world. It could be the central issue that helps us make every decision we make about our lives. When we're enveloped in our own balanced, ego-free love of self, we are powerful beyond measure. See, that's the key. I mean, that is the key to the whole thing. The key to the whole thing is self-love, but it's ego-free self-love. It's not self-aggrandizement. I'm better than somebody else. I'm wonderful. I'm fantastic, and everybody else is out there. No, it's the fact that I am a worthy human being. I'm a worthwhile human being. I'm a being worthy of love, and so is everybody else. And when you have that attitude, and so is everyone else, then that takes your ego out of it. This is true not because we're better than anyone else or more blessed than anyone else, but because we're living from the truth of us and in alignment with the way the Creator created us. So it's another lesson in self-love, which I think is pretty good. And you can see lots and lots of examples of people who have just never given up. One person who always amazed me was Stephen Hawking, who God knows how he lived so long with ALS, but he did. I mean, he lived like probably 4 times longer than, or maybe more than most people would. And his body, he couldn't use it for years, for decades, but he still got that wonderful mind and he had that will to live and he carried on and he produced lots of good things for science and astronomy. So people like this inspire me. So anyway, that's my story today. That's Reverend Michelle's story today, and we're sticking with our stories. Self-love, ego-free self-love is incredibly important, and it can all start, as I said, with looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, and concentrating from the inside out and knowing that every other person is worthy of love and every other person is an expression of a source that's way beyond us that created everything. And so is everything. So is this computer. So is the red cat that's sheltering in our front doorstep because it's raining outside. And so is the whole of creation. So I just know for everyone here, a true sense, a deep sense of self-love, of ego-free self-love. And I claim this is truth for each and every one who is open and willing to accept this. And I release this word into a divine law that is way beyond I am, but which produces wonderful results. And I claim it's done and good. And in gratitude, I just release it and say it is done. So it is. My colleague, Reverend Lisa, will be here tomorrow. No, she will be on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page tomorrow at 9:15. Then in Mercadal, we'll have our midweek meditation on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page. And I'll be back tomorrow evening on whatever medium you see this. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Please give us a like. If you any message you like this, please share it. It's real easy to share. Copy, a click, share. It's done. And you're doing yourself a good turn, because when you share, it's always something that comes back to you. So until next time, namaste.